Namaste, Dandavat Pranam. By the instruction of our spiritual master, Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj, we're reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Canto 2, The Cosmic Manifestation, Chapter 1, Text 22. Rajo Vacha Yata Sandharyate Brahman Dharana Yatra Samata Yadrishi Vahared Asu Purushasya Manomalam. The fortunate king Parikshit inquired further, saying, O Brahmana, please describe in full detail how and where the mind has to be applied and how the conception can be fixed so that the dirty things in a person's mind can be removed. Purport. The dirty things in the heart of a conditioned soul are the root cause of all troubles for him. A conditioned soul is surrounded by the manifold miseries of material existence, but on account of his gross ignorance, he is unable to remove the troubles due to dirty things in the heart, accumulated during a long prison life in the material world. He is actually meant to serve the will of the Supreme Lord, but on account of the dirty things in his heart, he likes to serve his concocted desires. And these desires, instead of giving him any peace of mind, create new problems and thus bind him to the cycle of repeated birth and death. And these dirty things of fruit of work and empiric philosophy can be removed only by death. These dirty things of fruit of work and empiric philosophy can be removed only by association with the Supreme Lord. The Lord, being omnipotent, can offer his association by his inconceivable potencies. Thus, persons who are unable to pin their faith on the personal feature of the Absolute are given a chance to associate with his Virat Rup, or the cosmic impersonal feature of the Lord. The cosmic impersonal feature of the Lord is a feature of his unlimited potencies. Since the potent and potencies are identical, even the conception of his impersonal cosmic feature helps the conditioned soul to associate with the Lord indirectly, and thus gradually rise to the stage of personal contact. Maharaj Parikshit was already directly connected with the personal feature of the Lord, Sri Krishna, and as such he had no need to inquire from Shukadev Goswami about where and how to apply the mind in the impersonal Virat Rup of the Lord. But he inquired after a detailed description of the matter for the benefit of others, who are unable to conceive of the transcendental personal feature of the Lord as the form of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. The non-devotee class of men cannot think of the personal feature of the Lord. Because of their poor fund of knowledge, the personal form of the Lord, like Rama or Krishna, is completely revolting to them. They have a poor estimation of the potency of the Lord. In Bhagavad Gita 9.11, it is explained by the Lord himself that people with a poor fund of knowledge deride the Supreme Personality of the Lord, taking him to be a common man. Such men are ignorant of the inconceivable potency of the Lord. By the inconceivable potency of the Lord, he can move in human society or any other society of living beings, and yet remain the same omnipotent Lord, without deviating in the slightest from his transcendental position. So, for the benefit of men who are unable to accept the Lord in his personal eternal form, Maharaj Parikshit inquired from Shukadev Goswami how to fix the mind on him in the beginning, and the Goswami replied in detail as follows. Text 23. Shri Shuka Uvacha Jitasano Jitasvaso Jita Shango Jitendriya Stule Bhagavato Rupe Manasandhara Yediya. Sukadev Goswami answered, one should control the sitting posture, regulate the breathing process by the yogic pranayama, and thus control the mind and senses, and with intelligence apply the mind to the gross potencies of the Lord, called the Virat Rup. Purport. The materially absorbed mind of the conditioned soul does not allow him to transcend the limit of the bodily conception of self, and thus the yoga system for meditation, controlling the sitting posture and breathing process and fixing the mind upon the supreme, is prescribed in order to mold the character of the gross materialist. Unless such materialists are able to cleanse the materially absorbed mind, it is impossible for them to concentrate upon thoughts of transcendence. And to do so, one may fix one's mind on the gross material or external feature of the Lord. The different parts of the gigantic form of the Lord are described in the following verses. The materialistic men are very anxious to have some mystic power as a result of such a controlling process. But the real purpose of yogic regulations is to eradicate the accumulated dirty things like lust, anger, avarice, and such material contaminations. If the mystic yogi is diverted by the accompanying feats of mystic control, then his mission of yogic success is a failure, because the ultimate aim is God realization. He is therefore recommended to fix his gross materialistic mind by a different conception, and thus realize the potency of the Lord. As soon as the potencies are understood to be instrumental manifestations of the transcendence, one automatically advances to the next step, and gradually the stage of full realization becomes possible for him. Text 24. Visheshastasya te hoyam stavistascha staviyasam yatrendam vyajyate vishvam bhutam bhavyam bhavachchasat. This gigantic manifestation of the phenomenal material world as a whole is the personal body of the absolute truth, wherein the universal resultant past, present, and future of material time is experienced. Purport. Anything, either material or spiritual, is but an expansion of the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And as stated in Bhagavad Gita 13.13, the omnipotent Lord has his transcendental eyes, heads, and other bodily parts distributed everywhere. He can see, hear, touch, or manifest himself anywhere and everywhere, for he is present everywhere as the supersoul of all infinitesimal souls, although he has his particular abode in the absolute world. The relative world is also his phenomenal representation, because it is nothing but an expression of his transcendental energy. Although he is in his abode, his energy is distributed everywhere, just as the sun is localized as well as expanded everywhere. Since the sun rays, being non-different from the sun, are accepted as expansions of the sun disk, in Vishnu Purana 1.22.52, it is said that as fire expands its rays and heat from one place, similarly the Supreme Spirit, the personality of Godhead, expands himself by his manifold energy everywhere and anywhere. The phenomenal manifestation of the gigantic universe is only a part of his Virat Rup. Less intelligent men cannot conceive of this transcendental, all-spiritual form of the Lord, but they are astounded by his different energies, just as the aboriginals are struck with wonder by the manifestation of lightning, a gigantic mountain, or a hugely expanded banyan tree. The aboriginals praise the strength of the tiger and the elephant because of their superior strength and energy. The asuras cannot recognize the existence of the Lord, although there are vivid descriptions of the Lord in the revealed scriptures, although the Lord incarnates and exhibits his uncommon strength and energy, and although he is accepted as the Supreme Personality of Godhead by learned scholars and saints like Vyasadeva, Narada, Asita, Devala in the past, and by Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, as also by the acharyas like Shankar, Ramanuja, Madhva, Lord Chaitanya in the modern age. The asuras do not accept any evidential proof from the revealed scriptures, nor do they recognize the authority of the great acharyas. They want to see with their own eyes at once. Therefore, they can see the gigantic body of the Lord as Virat, which will answer their challenge. And since they are accustomed to paying homage to superior material strength, like that of tiger, elephant, and lightning, they can offer respect to the Virat Rup. Lord Krishna, by the request of Arjuna, exhibited his Virat Rup for the asuras. A pure devotee of the Lord, being unaccustomed to looking into such mundane, gigantic form of the Lord, requires special vision for the purpose. The Lord, therefore, favored Arjuna with special vision for looking into his Virat Rup, which is described in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. This Virat Rup of the Lord was especially manifested not for the benefit of Arjuna, but for the unintelligent class of men who accept anyone and everyone as an incarnation of the Lord, and so mislead the general mass of people. For them, the indication is that one should ask the chief incarnation to exhibit his Virat Rup, and thus be established as an incarnation. The Virat Rup manifestation of the Lord is simultaneously a challenge to the atheist and a favor for the asuras, who can think of the Lord as Virat, and thus gradually cleanse the dirty things from their hearts, in order to become qualified to actually see the transcendental form of the Lord in the near future. This is a favor of the all-merciful Lord to atheists and the gross materialists. Text 25. Andha koshe stadiresmin saptavarana samyute vairaja purusho yaso bhagavandhara nashraya. The gigantic universal form of the personality of Godhead within the body of the universal shell, which is covered by sevenfold material elements, is the subject for the Virat conception. Purport. Simultaneously, the Lord has multifarious other forms, and all of them are identical with the original fountainhead form of Lord Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, it has been proven that the original transcendental and eternal form of Lord is Sri Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead. But by his inconceivable internal potency, Atma Maya, he can expand himself by multifarious forms and incarnations simultaneously without being diminished in his full potency. He is complete, and although innumerable complete forms emanate from him, he is still complete without any loss. That is his spiritual or internal potency. In the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, manifested his Virat Rup just to convince the less intelligent class of men who cannot conceive of the Lord as appearing just like a human being, that he factually has the potency of his claim to be the Supreme Personality, the absolute person, without any rival or superior. Materialistic men think, although very imperfectly, of the huge universal space, comprehending an innumerable number of planets as big as the sun. They can see only the circular sky overhead without any information that this universe, as well as many other hundreds of thousands of universes, are each covered by sevenfold material coverings of water, fire, air, sky, ego, noumenon, and material energy. Just like a huge football pumped and covered floating in the water of causal ocean, wherein the Lord is lying as Mahavishnu. All the universes in seed are emanating from the breathing of Mahavishnu, who is but a part of the partial expansion of the Lord, and all the universes presided over by the Brahmas vanish when Mahavishnu withdraws his great breath. In this way, the material worlds are being created and vanished by the supreme will of the Lord. The poor, foolish materialist can just imagine how ignorantly he puts forward an insignificant creature to become his rival incarnation, simply on the allegations of a dying man. The Virat Rup was particularly exhibited by the Lord just to give lessons to such foolish men, so that one can accept the person as the incarnation of Godhead only if such a person is able to exhibit such a Virat Rup as Lord Krishna did. The materialistic person may concentrate his mind upon the Virat Rup or gigantic form of the Lord in his own interest and as recommended by Sukadeva Goswami. But he must be on his guard not to be misled by pretenders who claim to be identical person as Lord Krishna, but are not able to act like him or exhibit the Virat Rup, comprehending the whole of the universe. Thus ends our reading for today. We will continue from text 26 on Monday, hopefully. All glories to Om Vishnu Pad, Paramahamsa Shripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Acharya Dev, Srila Shanta Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to our Rupa Nuga, Guru Varga Ki Jai. Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai, Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Nrishingapuri Dham Ki Jai, Ekachakra Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Ju Ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Giri Govardhan Gupta Govardhan Dham Ki Jai, Sham Kund Radhakund Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi, Bhakti Devi, Vrinda Devi Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the worldwide devotees, Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gora Premanandi, Hari 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 Bol. Dhanavat Pranam.